Итак, Рик, расскажите зрителям, чем именно занимается дублер.
Актерам приходится исполнять опасные штуки. Клифф помогает им нести эту тяжкую ношу.
Вы согласны с этим утверждением, Клифф?
Да, как-то так.
Thought in my head that didn't leave me after I watched the movie was that three of your characters were created like a part of the same human being psyche. Basically, you represent the hope. Your character represent kind of self-deprecation or self-criticism, and your character represents go with the flow, like a zen part of the human psyche. You created them specifically sort of like parts of one human being.
Hope, the doubt, and acceptance.
Yeah, no, wow. Yeah, I mean, I think I did know that, but I don't think I was thinking about that per se as I was writing the character. Yeah, absolutely.
You should, yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was. They're both past, present, future, hope, doubt, and acceptance. There's so many.
No, yeah, no, that actually makes a lot of sense. The way I wasn't breaking them down into the emotions they represent. I was breaking them down into the social stratas they represent, which actually ends up doing the same thing. All right, where it's like, you know, she's at the height of the zeitgeist. She's having the career that anyone would want to have in a current Hollywood. He is more of a Hollywood representing the past. He's not out of it. He's just not in the zeitgeist place she is, and like looks like his best work is behind him. And then Cliff represents a complete working man aspect that's far removed from these guys, and he also represents the kind of person that the town is full of people who've worked in the entertainment industry their whole lives, but don't really have anything to show for it. But yet, nevertheless, there is a zen acceptance, to his lot.
Ты самый крутой актер, которого я видела в жизни.
Спасибо.
There's a moment in the movie, it's a moment where a little girl tells your character, this is the best acting I have ever seen in my whole life. And that stuck with me from the moment we saw like 8 minutes of footage 3 months ago. Did you ever have that moment in your life, out of the blue, that somebody told you something like that actually was very important?
Yeah, I think so. I think I grew up in Los Angeles and in this town, but there's always this intrinsic feeling that I immediately understood in playing Rick too. When you're young, you kind of feel like they're this elitist group of people that you don't belong to, that you have to fight your way into, or some fairy godmother from The Wizard of Oz is going to come bless you and say, now come with us, Yeah, I mean, and I think that, I think early on you try your best, you invest in characters, you do your job, you give it your all. But there are those key moments, and I remember a moment very early on and somebody saying, that was a really good performance. And I'm like, really? Are you being serious? It's this realization, you're so immersed in what you do that you do get those points of you can never have that sort of detachment watching yourself, especially when you're a young actor. I think you don't know what you have done really, and yeah, I've had that moment very early on, and it was surprising.
Can you name names?
Yes, please.
I don't remember the names.
I had this one. I had just popped and everything. You pop, you get praised, and then everything turns on you, right? And someone had publicly said I deserved a slapping, and I was like, what? And I ran into Sidney Poitier, one of the most graceful, elegant,
Absolutely.
people of all. This is probably mid-'90s, and he gave me that compliment, and it really meant something to me at that time, and I'll never forget it. It was really giving on his part. It was surprising, coming from the great Poitier, and it was damn good timing.
Yeah, I remember mine now is Brendan Fraser. That's right.
Really?
Gilbert Grape. Yeah. Remember that? Yeah.
I had an interesting situation that happened fairly recently, and it's I hadn't thought about it in that context until you just said this question. It's I don't think it. I hope it wasn't like Rick or some Nora Desmond moment, but it kind of was to some degree. It was when I was in Cannes, and I didn't read that many reviews in Cannes, but I did read the Time magazine review by Stephanie Zaharik, and I always really liked her as a critic. And I read the review, and it was really great. I was like, oh my God, wow! And it was like one of the only things I read. And so I was so excited, I wanted to read it to my wife. And so I turned to her and I started reading it. And I just burst into tears as I was reading it, but not in this, not for a Nora Desmond kind of, I'm just crying over my own reviews. It was the fact that she singled out what she felt was the compassion that the movie had for Shэрон. And that was what it was. And the fact that somebody else saw the compassion that we had towards Shэрon destroyed me. I was able to read it the first time, but when I was reading it out loud to my wife and saying the words, I just got overcome with emotion. And it felt like I totally felt like I was this drama queen. I had to explain to her, this is not me crying over the fact that somebody likes my movie. This is me crying that somebody recognized what I tried to give to Shэрon.
Я Шэрон Тейт, актриса.
Вы там снимались?
Вот я. Играю мисс Карлсон, растяпу.
And the last question, Shэрon Tейt is such one of the focus points of the movie. When you were approaching her, she represents such a light in the movie. How did you approach her, that character?
Exactly like that. I just wanted her to feel light. I wanted her to, I mean, something we spoke about early on is Shэрon being a heartbeat throughout the film, and also the film does show such compassion to her, and it also gives her memory a chance to be, for everyone to remember her for the life that she lived as opposed to the death that she met. And so every scene I just wanted to inject her with as much life and light as possible. I wanted her to be a light character, as in bright, but also like feeling light, because a lot of people did kind of refer to her as being ethereal or angelic in some ways, but yeah, to represent that hopefulness, that innocence, I just wanted her to be light.
Покажи, на что ты способен.
Текст.
Стоп!
Так чертовски обосраться на глазах у всей команды.